Very quick video. I'm at, as the title suggests, Christchurch, Greyfriars. So initially, the partial building that I'm about to show you was the second largest church building in England, certainly, and was founded as a Franciscan monastery in 1225, 13th century. After the dissolution of the monasteries, Henry VIII, you know, that guy, 16th century, his son, Edward VI, his son, created here, the monument behind me is for that Christchurch Hospital, or Christ's Hospital, for the education and edification, I'm sure, of children. The church that existed subsequently to that on this site where I am, which I'm about to show you, was bombed in 1940 during obviously the Second World War, and was then deemed a listed building, e.g. There can be no further building. There has been some gardens planted which follow the shape of the original church, so I'm about to, well, I'll show you in the background and then I will flip the camera. So that's the steeple, it's quite high. If I turn around and go that way, you just about see the top of St. Paul's, so you may have an idea of where I am if you're from London or can use a map. So this, I'll just rearrange my bag. Let me see if I can flip the camera. Yes, I can. Right. So this would be the aisle up to the nave, which is in use, and I believe that these stones represent the positions of the pews. The wooden planters are representative of, I think, columns that were in the original church. It is pretty beautiful, albeit partially destroyed by incendiary bombs, like I say, in 1940. That's the top view. The weather isn't allowing for brilliant lighting, unfortunately, but I'm just gonna have a little look, and I'm gonna read you this, which I've only just noticed. So it says the stones were quarried mainly in Cornwall and Scotland in the 19th century for use in Bazalgette. So Joseph Bazalgette, who was the what do I want to call him? He was instrumental in removing cholera, certainly, in Victorian London. He built upon the Roman sewage system, which wasn't actually a sewage system. It was to, drain away water into the Thames. But he revolutionized even, let's call it plumbing for the moment. So it says here, the stones were quarried mainly in Cornwall and Scotland in the 19th century for use in Joseph Bazalgette's Thames River Wall at Victoria Embankment. They've been removed to enable the new Thames Tideway super sewer, and they're installed here across 7 sites on a temporary basis until they go to their next long-term use in a new public space in the City of London. The large blocks of granite could contribute to many projects and building life cycles over the next 1,000 years and beyond. In the meantime, the stones will be used to provoke discussion about reused material lifespan and cultural heritage at a time when stone can make a significant contribution to a more sustainable built environment. I'm going to stop reading. There's a small map of the area. So I would say that actually the church was destroyed the monastery rather, after the dissolution and the changing of hands, as it were. The church was then, the religious building on the site was destroyed in the Great Fire of London, which of course was 1666. And Christopher Wren, you may have heard of him, he certainly designed the top part and the rest of St. Paul's, and this church and many other churches actually, certainly within the City of London, which was far smaller, of course, in the 17th century. think what else I can tell you about. I can't be sure. I think these may be representative of thistles, although I initially thought pineapple. But we can discuss that later date. There are workmen in there. I don't really want to disturb them. There are 2 grave markers here. That's what I would say, whilst I just sit down a moment and show you, I guess, the outer view. There were, I mean, I don't know if they were disinterred, to be fair, but there are at least 2 queens who were buried here. So the magnitude or the importance of the site, as it were, was highly regarded in medieval times, certainly. I think that's all I have to say about that. Quick update, I shall be making a video with Robert Spencer next month and discussing his new book, which I've just started wading through. It's pretty illuminating and yet heavy going because of the subject matter. And you may have just heard some of London's, I mean, this was a hospital originally, but not a psychiatric hospital. And there is actually, I could carry on the video and get away from these workmen. There is a hospital right beside me. So the street in front of me is Newgate Street. I don't know if you've heard of Newgate Prison. It's no longer in existence other than the basements, and the Old Bailey, the Central Criminal Court of England, was built upon its former site. And St Bartholomew's Church, or Bart's as it's known as in London, is literally just here, off the top of my head, which is the way I like to do things, or the way I do things. Was founded, I don't want to say. I know it was certainly, I believe it was medieval, which is up to 1500 and so. Nope, nothing to do with it. It says near this spot stood Poulter's Hall, 1630 to 66. So that's handy to know, and yet not. So anyway, St Bartholomew's was initially, there's a well which I may be able to show you if I could find it, which now I say it seems ambitious. I think there was a miraculous, or certainly some consecutive miraculous healings at the site, at which time people began to gather there, and the religious order of the time, so the religious order of the time began to take in the sick and the disabled, and upon their work the church was founded. So this stone that I'm looking at says, I mean, it's about Edward VII, so it's far later, but it says the stone, Edward VII, King of Great Britain and Ireland and the British dominions beyond the seas, Emperor of India, laid this stone of King Edward's building. This is the post office, on the 16th day of October 1905, on the site of Christ's Hospital, founded in 1552. That was Edward, as I told you already, not this Edward, Edward VI, the preceding Edward, but by quite some time. So that was pretty pointless information not concerning parts, and again, people think I'm filming them, but it's understandable. So let's see if we can find a quick piece of information about Barts. I think maybe I'm not in the correct street. I may come upon the Old Bailey, but the Old Bailey, the Central Criminal Court, has been in use since certainly Edward I, the 13th century, because I'm pretty close to the Royal Courts of Justice also, which are close by. But just a fun fact, the Old Bailey refers to the street on which the nickname is the Old Bailey, and that refers to the street on which the Central Criminal Court stands, and a bailey is a fortification. That's literally all the information I hope you require, because that's all you're getting. Right, this is the really modern rubbishy view of Barts. So it's kind of like there. I may stop this video. Well, I will stop this video, and then I shall. I'm on King Edward Street, so yeah, that doesn't mean much to most of you. However, I shall be back soon, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. And I don't know how to end the video because I haven't done it for so long. Right, let's find out how to stop a vid. Let's see. That one?
Yes.
Apparently not. Oh yes. Okay. Right. Oh my goodness, that's a sign, if ever there was one, that I need to do more streaming. But again, I will be making a vid with Robert Spencer and his book about anti-Semitism, the myths and the history of, is excellent. I just want to throw it out there, but I'll discuss it at more length with him. All right, lots of love. Ciao.